Okay, we appear to be live. Excellent. So, welcome to the Blasted Lands. Population, well, depends on when you ask. Anybody who knows anything is probably going like, oh my god, Netherguard Keep is still there. Yes, welcome to the middle past. Not the far past, but the middle past of Netherguard Keep's history. We'll talk about Netherguard Keep a little bit as soon as we grab some quests up. And of course, for some reason, there's this whole Horde Alliance thing going on. I don't even know what to make of that. I do know that 7th is online. 7th. Hello, Bender is great. Bender is great.
Well met.
Oh, over and sent you. Good, good.
Safe travels.
I've seen countless ships sail by the shore to the southeast, but most of them passed by inconspicuously. Several days, though. Powerful storm carried several of the ships to the shore, left them wrecked. I'll bet a pint of Netherguard bitter that they were Horde ships. If I didn't love Netherguard bitter so much. I could pay you in gold, though.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Hang on. Pull up my Twitter really quick. Let's see here. Yes. Yes, I did get your tweet. I had to remind myself. Hello, Chaz. Hello, Dakota. Sleep is for the weak and the dead. I mean, you should probably get some sleep, dude. You should definitely stop using caps. Whoops, wrong character. I do that a lot, don't I? Alright. Quartermaster Lungert.
Light be with you.
Netherguard has stood steadfast for years against demon onslaught that plagues this land. Our watch is never-ending, our vigilance unfaltering, our courage bottomless. We've held this land since the portal is open, but now the Horde insects have the insolence to stand in our way. We have protected them as well as we have protected ourselves. Let's see if you've got a hand for combat. Kill one of the Korkron scouts that nibble at our perimeter.
Light bless you.
So, I know Zawan isn't going to be here today. But I just feel like, you know, whenever you watch this on the VODs, Zawan, I want to point out that the Horde here are frickin' stupid. What he just said is fairly accurate. You know, we have defended Azeroth from things coming through the portal. Not just the Alliance, the Horde as well. And yet the Horde are here to conquer Netherguard. And I really feel like that's all I need to say about that. They fail. Both sides fail to wipe out the other. But, I mean, really? Really? You know? See if I can't find one of these little stealth scouts. Where are you, scouts? Where are you? So welcome to the Blasted Lands. Ah, there's one. As you might notice, this place is a little blasted. In fact, this is probably one of the more flat, barren areas in the game. And that's saying something given how many barren areas there are in this game. But nothing is quite this particular red and death like the Blasted Lands. In fact, this is pretty much the same general design as the Hellfire Peninsula. Except this place has less water, by which I mean basically none. Now I say basically because there's a bit of a asterisk to that over here, but we'll get to that in a bit. Up until recently, there was no water in the Blasted Lands. This used to be a marsh, by the way. The Black Morass that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. If you don't recognize this place, I don't blame you, since it doesn't quite look like the last time we saw it, which was a few years ago in Warcraft 2.
Need help?
Not bad. You're quicker than most of my men. Stick around. I may have use for you yet. The Horde is a nuisance that we will deal with, but they're proving more difficult than previously expected. You ought to put a stop to this. To the west of Nethergard, the Okrillon forces press on our defenses. They currently hold the mines, and they mean to move the supply camps and eventually the keep. Thin their numbers, delay their advance.
For the Alliance.
I shall do this thing.
My, you're a tall one.
See there, Deutsch. Deutsch, is it? I've got a proposition for you which involves explosions. Are you sure you're not a goblin? I couldn't help but overhear your conversation with the quartermaster. You see, I've been working on an explosive device. It's not very effective against other creatures, but devastating against artillery. If you're heading back to the field, find some supplies and give it a try. Who knows? Maybe they like explosions too.
You have a great day now.
Hey there.
Lundgertz is a strong leader, but he's proud. He understates the pressure that the Horde is really putting us. Without the mine, Nethergard is penniless. We need to move the Horde forces into the camp now. Doing so means killing their commander. He's not a strong leader and prefers to bark orders from the back lines, but his death might bring us the victory we need.
See you around.
Gee, let's go kill a weak leader. I'm sure that's really going to affect all sorts of things. So Nethergard Keep. Let's get a little bit of a history lesson going here, shall we? We actually basically set up this keep back in Warcraft 2 if we were playing as the Alliance, or raised it to the ground if we were playing as the Horde during the expansion to Warcraft 2. Hey, Sororoxes. So that's the Dark Portal, right there. As you can see, when it was detonated by Khadgar and his group at the end of Warcraft 2, it made that crater. And you can kind of see what the rest of the land has been affected by over the years of exposure to it. Again, this used to be a swamp, I feel like pointing out. But Nethergard Keep here was actually established before any of that. Which is funny, because it means they're just as infused as everything else is. Hey, Corwin. I know, right, Dakota? Nethergard Keep was actually where Khadgar was stationed for, well, most of his career, actually, during this period of history. And by most of his career, I'm saying that wrong. What I mean by is, this is where Khadgar was. Just period, basically. Oh, crap. Nethergard Keep was Khadgar's baby. Now, funny little fact, Nethergard Keep was in lore constructed by a amalgamate of forces including... Or, I shouldn't say forces. It was funded by all of the forces of the Alliance of Lordaeron, which, I know this is going to shock you, but the various noble groups of the Kingdoms of the North really didn't like funding a fortress all the way down here. We already did, Venetia. Give you a little bit of perspective. Here's the nations of the North. Here's Nethergard. So yeah, they really didn't want to fund this place down here. And in all honesty, at least part of that is understandable. This was an extremely expensive endeavor for them. They even brought in the best craftsman of the time, Edwin Van Cleef. I don't know if you ever heard of the man, but he does some really good architectural work. But long story short, they were really, really hesitant to set this place up. And when they finally did, it was like, okay, perfect. It's set up. Khadgar, you sit here, and bit by bit, the Northern Alliance just kind of wanted to let it rot. But Khadgar kept insisting, guys, the possibility of a second invasion exists. We need Nethergard. This is when things get kind of ironic. Because a second invasion did happen, except a second invasion didn't happen. So, I guess I'm actually misusing the word irony there. The reason I call this amusing, though, see, what happened is a elite force on behalf of Ner'zhul came through the portal to steal certain artifacts from Azeroth in order to open new portals back on Draenor. I've actually talked about this before, but again, to reiterate for everybody who didn't catch it, Ner'zhul was motivated by a little bit of a malaise, but also the desire to save his people, to free his orcs from Draenor and get them the hell out of Dodge before the demons came. Most of the forces who were working for him, especially Gorefiend, believed they were going to start some new wave of the invasion. So technically it was a new invasion, it just also wasn't at the same time. It's kind of weird. Either way, so a new force came in, attacked Nethergard Keep, charged north, took all the artifacts, and charged right back through the portal, which left the Alliance forces going, huh? They weren't quite sure what to make of that. Also, I should add one other thing. There was one other one other political organization, that at the very least had enough of a brain to keep funding Netherguard Keep, despite the fact that it was, you know, this seemingly unimportant fortress in the middle of nowhere. That would be the Kirin Tor. Anyway, so the events of Warcraft 2 happened, destabilization, blah blah blah. Khadgar was left on the other side of the portal, along with Turelion, Illyria, Donoth, the Curdon, all of them. Interesting, Gorwin. When did Rexar go through the portal? You know, that's actually an exceptionally good question. Here's the answer. Seriously, I don't know. The most common explanation I hear is that he came through in between Warcraft 1 and 2, along with a fairly large number of the ogres, is who came through in that period of time. The idea is that's when the portal was open, and just banging open in the wind, basically, and not really all that monitored by anybody. How he ended up in Kalimdor, we may never know. Probably the same way the other ogres ended up in Kalimdor. Actually, speaking of which, finally got some answers for how the ogres ended up in Kalimdor. Apparently they just sailed there. You know those big old juggernaut ships? Well, those are ogre ships. And apparently, during and after the Second War, a lot of ogres just took their ships and said, screw this, and just set sail. Like, hoping to find something, anything. And a lot of the ogres actually ended up over into Kalimdor. Hello, Iliana? Am I saying that right? I do have a schedule. It's actually very, very simple. Every day another video goes live at 5 p.m. So, that's it. That's the schedule. That will be true for the next several months. And hey, Lonely.
Greetings.
Ah, the sound of things going boom makes my gnome heart pitter-patter. You've made my day, Deutsch.
Be seeing you.
Yeah, sure.
King's honor, friend.
You're an excellent asset to the Alliance and the Kirin Tor. Well done. With time, our forces will retake the mine and press these horde dogs out of the blasted
With
lands.
honor, friend.
You need something?
Thank you. Thanks to your efforts, I'm confident we will win back the Netherguard mine.
For the Alliance.
So you notice these quests just stop. That's on purpose. Basically, the Horde Alliance conflict here doesn't actually have a definitive victor. It's just the two of them fight it out until they both just kind of fight to a standstill, and then the fighting stops because peace were declared. That's pretty much how that ends up. So, one other significant point about Netherguard. Netherguard was initially very well funded, so it was very well manned, lots of people, top-of-the-line training, great equipment, you know, all that fun stuff. Over time, that began to dwindle, especially when the initial events of the Third War, that led up to the Third War, I should say, started happening. And pretty much all of the northern kingdoms completely withdrew their support of Netherguard. I mean, it's not like the Horde is going to be ever a threat ever again, right? So they stopped supporting Netherguard entirely. But it was okay, because there was one group still supporting Netherguard, the Kirin Tor. Sweet! Then the Kirin Tor got curb-stomped by the Scourge and Archimonde. And, well, I shouldn't even have to explain what happened then. So, from basically Warcraft 3 until BC, Netherguard was just barely scraping by its own existence from what they can mine in the area and try to fend for themselves. Keeping in mind, this is not exactly what you call the most resource-heavy area, as you can see just by looking around a bit. Then BC happened. By a little bit of an irony, all of a sudden, this tiny little fort suddenly became a super huge important confluence of both the Alliance and the Horde in their excursions into Outland through the Dark Portal. So, kind of out of nowhere, Netherguard suddenly got reinforcements and funding and fresh recruits and all that fun stuff. I say that's kind of ironic because the next thing that happens is what you're staring at right now, where they start fighting against the disgusting Horde over here. Which I'm going to show off a little bit in a second. For those of you not aware, oh, we'll get to there when we get there. But this is a disgusting horde up there. You see them? That's Dreadmaul Keep. This used to be... so there used to not actually be a horde zone spot here at all. Like, whatsoever. Instead, what we had over here was a ogre mound. See, there were two forces that remained active within the Blasted Lands, other than Netherguard Keep. There was an entire group of ogres, the Dreadmaul Ogres, as it happens, which were loyal to the demons, specifically. Not the demonic horde, just the demons. And then there were the demons, who are also here. And there's a reason why Netherguard had a problem maintaining their hold all this time. Because they weren't actually idle. They weren't just sitting there growing, stagnant and fat. They were actually fighting against regular demon incursions in this land, literally daily. Hey, Zawan. I was just talking about you. And so Netherguard was actually busy this entire time. You'll notice it's kind of a mage town, by the way. Mage tower, 2 barracks, walls, in vanilla, we kind of helped them out a little bit. But, of course, the Horde decided to... The Disgusting Horde, to make this clear, decided to claim Dreadmaul Hold for themselves. In Deutsch. And it decided that that these guys over here are the Alliance. And therefore they should be at war with them! Death to the Alliance! Never mind the fact that Netherguard has basically been a neutral port for years and years and years. In lore, at least. Again, pretty much ever since Warcraft 3, Netherguard has been a neutral port, whose only interest is defending against that over there. But no, the Disgusting Horde's like, we must march on Netherguard. Stomp, 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 stomp. And Netherguard's like, what the hell are you doing? Ah! Meanwhile, both sides are dumb. I should say the Alliance is dumb. Because the Horde are not. I should say the Horde is dumb, because the Alliance... Basically, what happened here is the Disgusting Horde pushed Netherguard into forging an alliance with the Alliance, because they were attacking them and they had no one else to turn to. I think that's the one instance where the Horde pushes a force into the Alliance, rather than the reverse. I Shmudov. It's always the Alliance pushing people into the Horde, but... I was mixing it up. The Horde were dumb, not Netherguard were dumb. Okay, so there's a lot of broken ships here on the shore here. That's kind of whacked. Oh, by the way, this is actually kind of new. This used to be a mountain. Well, that's exaggerating. This used to be a series of hills. Then the Cataclysm happened, and, well, you can see what they are now. The Nilfgaardians. Netherguard's also one of the few functional fortresses that we built back in Warcraft 2 that's still functional. Just keep that in mind for like 10 levels from now.
What can I do for you?
Ugh, you saw Worgen. That's bad. Worgen ghosts. That's even worse. Those weren't Horde ships. They were Gilnean. They must have been setting down the Surwich at the bottom of the tent in the forest. That makes a lot more sense. You've got to help them. The Worgen are our allies.
See you soon.
Yeah, by the way, Dreadmaul was also lost in Warlords. But, yeah. Honestly, Darker, I'm pretty sure they just set sail. I mean, it's not that hard to be like, alright, we're up here. We need to be over here. I mean, think about it. Whoosh. Anyways. Based on what you're telling me, it sounds like there aren't many survivors, just restless spirits. Least we can do is give them a rest. She takes a long draw of black ale. Head back to Shadowshard, vanquish the ghosts that remain. Doing so should release their spirits. Yeah, sure.
Keep your feet on the ground.
The other thing that concerns me about those shipwrecks is all the vultures they've attracted. Knowing how those birds operate, they've already picked the bones clean, but we can't allow them to further desecrate the bones of our friends. Before I brewed, I hunted. Here, take this bow, and more importantly, these arrows. They've been laced with a little concoction that should give them a surprise.
See you soon.
So yeah, thanks to the alliances, the Alliance of Lordaeron's massive underfunding of this place, and then the Horde's stupidity in attacking it, this whole section is going to fall in Warlords. Like, this whole zone is going to fall in Warlords. Well, they weren't... Okay, so there is a reason why they came here, which we will discuss when we get to it, because I'd kind of like to show you it visually. Now, if you're asking why they went to that spot specifically, well, we'll discuss that when we get there. But yeah, the Gilneans are here for a reason. They're not just randomly like, oh, hey, there's a spot to settle. The Blasted Lands, that sounds like a good settling spot. No one else wants it. Who knew our hunter was good with a bow? But yeah, so you remember how we were talking about how it's weird how the druids haven't been able to retake Felwood? And by weird, I mean actually makes completely logical sense. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Just keep it there. Well, these are quite a few ships, Z1. So, I mean, yeah. I like how they're still trying to, like, fix the ship. Or maybe they're just attacking it. Who knows? So, believe it or not... Hey, an imperfect Draenithist. Hang on a second. Okay. Excuse me. Yes, we did talk about Moira, Z1. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Damn it, I was in the middle of saying something. Honestly, Takoida, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do a WoW lore run. The sheer length and depth and breadth of the lore in WoW is gargantuan. It's one of the reasons why I didn't want to just sit down and do a rumination on WoW. Even if I did that, that would probably be an hours long. There's no probably. It would definitely be an hours long series. A series of videos. And yeah. Better to just show you everything. Anywho, what the hell was I talking about? Oregon, stupidity of the Northern Alliance. Yeah, fun fact, this lore run has already gone well over 50 hours. How's that for a weird thought for the day? Oh, so I should talk about Vanilla Blasted Lands. Vanilla Blasted Lands sucked! God, it sucked so hard, you have no idea. Vacuums would look at this thing and be like, dude, whoa, chill out. This place, I know that's a terrible joke, but I mean, seriously, this place was the most disgustingly terrible place to quest in the entire game, with one exception. There was one cool quest chain in the Blasted Lands. Even that was actually kind of a pain, especially if you're trying to do it solo. Yeah, it's... Okay, so there were basically no real quests here. Like, there were a few quests for the blood... Well, what would eventually become the Blood Elves. Oh, we want to experiment with the creatures around here. For science, basically. And so you'd have to go around gathering basilisk brains. And apparently no basilisks actually had brains, because the drop rate was abominable. I know, old joke, but it's still true. And then there was the quest with the Draenithus crystals, and then there was the Lorimus Thalapides chain, and that was it. I mean, that really was it. That was the extent of the Blasted Lands. And it sucked. And I hated it. And everyone hated it. And if you say you didn't hate it, you're actually lying. It's been mathematically proven that if you liked vanilla Blasted Lands other than the big chain, that you are, in fact, a human being who is lying. Oh my god, this place sucks so hard! Okay, I'm done. It got to the point where I never actually did this zone ever again. Yeah, the Alliance... Okay, so there were some neutral quests, which weren't actually Horde, to go get, you know, the brains and whatnot. And then there was, like, a quest to go... God, I don't even remember. It was something incredibly, ridiculously stupid. And then there was the Dranathus quest, and then there was the Lorem Stellopides chain, and then there was the Tainted Scar over here, which had a raid boss, and there were a couple quests down here, I want to say. Pretty sure that's it.
Great to meet you.
I could be completely and utterly wrong, though. She takes another sip of a freshly refilled mug. Would you stop drinking? Ugh, you've done the well, lad. You've done the Alliance proud.
Safe travels.
It's a tragedy what happened on the Shatter Shore. They weren't even soldiers. Just looking for a new home. I think we've done all we can.
See you soon.
Time for you to visit the Watcher. He's been in a bit of a mood lately. I'm not sure why. Head up to the top of the Mage Tower and check in with him.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Sure. Oh, by the way, despite the fact that the Horde and the Alliance are fighting here, technically, there's not really any difference in Horde or Alliance quests here. If you're wondering why we're doing it on the Alliance, I'll give you a tint. The Horde quests are exactly the same, other than go kill those Netherguard scum for the Gilnear, or for the Gilnear as well, for the Garrosh. Yeah, the perfect Dranathist thing, which I was counting as a Dranathist quest, which is why I didn't mention it.
Greetings.
My associates were correct to send you to me. I have a problem which may threaten the sanctity of Netherguard. You have already run into some of the Shadow-sworn cultists that dwell in the caves to the southwest of Netherguard. Actually, no, I don't. They do not impress an immediate danger on our fortress, but I fear they are planning something more dreadful than you can imagine. The low-ranking members carry some foci. Bring me them intact.
Be careful.
I'll do my best. Andros will not have his way with me, buddy. Okay, let's do this. Suppose I should do the Dranathist thing, just to show it off. A shard of glimmering rock sits before you. You sense the item will be of value to someone in the Blasted Lands. And he's over there. We'll get to him in just a second, though. Damn it. These are yellow mobs. They've caught up to me, guys. I'm terribly sorry. Hi. You know, if I had Barrage right now, this would be awesome. If I don't get Barrage to like 90, yeah. Oh my goodness. I hate to point this out for the 50th time, but once again we have a evil force here, which doesn't seem to care about which race you are, as long as you're willing to be evil. Damn it. He broke his spell focus. These are specifically demon followers right here. These are actually not... I mean, I guess they're technically followers of the Legion, but not directly, if that makes any sense. Now, these guys follow a local demon lord, Razalik. I gave my reasons to one. The Pandaren was devastated by war and couldn't take it anymore. The Druid was devastated by war and couldn't take it anymore. The Forsaken was disgusted by what her fellow Forsaken were doing and decided to try and devote herself to redeeming herself for her actions and make it up to the world. And Deutsch, well, funny you asked that, because I was going to ask Deutsch himself how he thinks Deutsch should retire. In lore, in character. So this is Kumisha the Collector. This guy's been here since vanilla. And so, if you ask him, if you give him Dranathist, he gives you loot. Now, it's kind of worthless now, but there's some good loot you could get here back in the days. Look at this. So, just a shard? This is nothing. Take your reward and get out of my sight. Sound familiar? It should, because I say it 1,000 times a day. Oh, I loathe this world. It's fascinating. I have heard orcs proclaim the odor of humans to be sickening, and I've heard humans proclaim the odor of orcs to be wretched. Yet to me all the races of these lands give off the same odor, the foul, dizzying scent of greed. Do you doubt the validity of my claim? Do you not see these things that run your life as merely runoff from the greed that dictates your every decision? So be it. As it was greed that displaced me from my home, it shall be greed that takes me back. By the way, this is a lost one. Another step down from a broken. The final step down from the Draenei. Very, very warped and twisted, as you can see. So Kamisha, his whole lore thing is that he is trying to get back home, basically. To get back through the portal. So he's collecting Dranathist in the hopes of being able to make such a thing actually happen. Because, yeah... Where am I going? I'm going this way. He also finds the gear that he gives you junk, and he in fact finds it disgusting that you are so slaveringly enjoyable of this junk. And he insists that Azeroth is filled with greedy people, and insert joke about adventures and loot, etc. No, he was trying to reopen the portal. Obviously, the portal is open now in history, but back in vanilla, it wasn't. It was actually shut. And then Kazak just magica, blarga, blue, and then the portal reopened. A leader of the dwarves! But, okay. Well, which dwarves? Because that actually is important. It does determine where he is retired. Like, for those of you who not know, our Forsaken character, Despire, she retired in Hearthglen, you know, joining the Dawn. Joining the Argent Dawn. And the Pandaren retired in Winterspring, so he could eat good food. And Leafsong retired in Darnassus, so she could commune with a loon.
Well met.
The cultists will not easily part with their folk. I slay them quickly. Ah, ably done, Deutsch. Now, if we see if my suspicions are correct. Don't pick Stormpike, because screw the Stormpike. I need you to pass on a message for me. Kasim Sharim is an old blood mage that knows a great deal about the demons of the Blasted Lands. Although you wouldn't know it from looking at him, he's quite old and very powerful, if a little eccentric. As of late, he spends his days in the back of the Serpent's Coil. Okay.
Light bless you.
Let's see what it is. The one's made of metal. Well, the Iron Dwarves. Yeah. I mean, there's the Earthen, who are made out of rock and stone and whatnot, but the Iron Dwarves are, what's the word? Bad guys. Yes, I think that's a good word for it. A player character? No. Although, as someone pointed it out, who was it? Scroll up a little bit. Yes, Psychotic. One of my characters actually abandoned the planet. Although, it was a little more complicated than just Garrosh. But... yeah, she did end up abandoning the planet. Half-Baked Gamed comes out. Does it happen more often, or is it simply a matter of average player having more information? The latter thing. Half-Baked games go all the way back to when video gaming first really was a thing. Like, if you go back and look at... probably the actual... if you go back and look at the NES era, I think is actually the best era to showcase this. You'll see a lot of half-baked, half-unfinished, and just generally bad video games that came out on the NES. This is despite the fact that the NES is almost universally praised. So the fact that new games are coming out that are garbage or half-unfinished or whatever is nothing new. It's just we're a little more aware of it than we used to be. I don't know you. Oh, let's read the thing here. He has returned. Okay. Ha! You Nethergarden nincompoops are always 2 steps behind me, and I'm nowhere near as fast as I used to be. I don't need Mahar's note to know what's going on. Why do you think I'm cooped up in the back of this cave? What I do need, however, is a strong dwarf like you. Do you have fun fighting your way to the back of the cave? I admit I haven't picked the most convenient spot to perform my studies, especially for passing adventurers who wish to enter and leave at will. However, I will allow you to tune yourself to my bloodstone teleporters. Simply place your hands on the stone, and you'll be teleported outside. Then use the stone and teleport back. How do I put this as politely as I can, Darker? Excellent. You've managed to complete the simplest of tasks without dying. Now that that's out of the way. Like any good blood mage, I perform my magic with blood. All blood's different, and the Blasted Lands has several different flavors, if you know where to look. For our purposes, basilisks and hyenas, even amounts. We're going to need plenty of blood, and don't forget, you can use the teleporter. Contrary to popular belief, ancient and powerful blood mages do not drink blood. We eat normal food just like everyone else, something that can be hard to come by in the recesses of a hostile cultist stronghold. The Ashbane boars in the Central Valley of the Blasted Lands are, if nothing else, convenient for eating, as their meat does not require cooking. That's kind of gross. Would you hunt these boars and help replenish my ever-dwindling food stocks? Sure. Hey, Bragwin. Anyways, the Earthen are not evil dwarves. No, the Earthen are the original dwarves. He's a blood mage, first of all. Like an actual blood mage. In fact, I think he might be the only actual blood mage in the entire setting. I mean that seriously. Kael'thas called himself a blood mage, but it was kind of a misnomer because he didn't work with blood. He was a blood mage the same way a blood elf works with blood. AKA, not at all. He was just a powerful mage of the fire variety, primarily. But, yeah. So, yeah. I don't know what else to add to that. So this is actually a really blood mage. A guy who actually works with blood. I'm sure there's actually other blood mages in the setting. I just can't think of them right now off the top of my head. They're pretty damn rare. There might be like 5, and it's a completely random estimate given the fact that I think there's only 1. Oh, it's not non-cooked. They're on fire? Fell fire, actually. I would call that a severe technically psychotic, personally. I get where you're coming from, but I'd still call that a technically. So Deutsch is going to become a senator. Did I hear that correctly? Yeah, I know, right, Dakota? It's not like Dragon Age where it's like, blood magic and blah, 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 blah. It's more like, hey, you're a what? Okay, so in case you don't get why this is kind of creepy, look at that boar, okay? You see him? You staring at him? Okay. Now, look at him again! Look at the spikes! And then they go away. That's not a bug you're looking at. That's just how those boars are, because fell. And this guy wants to eat these things. Smells like it's already been barbecued. So, anyone want some fell boar? Because I don't. It's just kind of gross. But yeah, so a blood mage in setting is actually exactly what it sounds like. It is a subset of fell magic, from what I understand, because life force. It's just a more literal life force as opposed to the more figurative life source. That's a good question, Takoida. Deutsch, would you like to answer that question? That reminds me, I tried something new yesterday. I'm gonna mangle pronouncing this. Prosciutto balls. It's Italian. Prosciutto, something like that. I actually really didn't like it. I mean, it wasn't bad. I finished it, so I shouldn't say it like that. But I was really surprised because it's like, oh, it's some kind of cheese and meat thing, and I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, Deutsch is gone. Damn it. We will never know the answer to this, Dakota. Yeah, it was like 90% cheese. It was weird. Yes, that's how it was spelled, Darker. Prosciutto. I don't remember. I was schooled on how to pronounce it, and then I forgot because I am terrible at everything. I was thinking about lore, damn it. So who here wants to hear something funny, completely unrelated to prosciutto balls? Prosciutto? Italian balls. It was like $3 I got it. Well, that works for me, Corwin. As long as you have a reason for it, I'm down with you guys all killing each other. Anyways, so, a little bit of a thing. I was thinking about this recently because I was going over some of the lore of the Blasted Lands, and I remembered that I've actually gone over the lore of this place before. Not on the stream, I should say. Just in general, and I remember that one thing I used to do for a lot of my friends was just lore run for them. Like, I would just sit down and tell them the stories of games. And that used to be a thing I did regularly. This was years ago, by the way. This was long before I ever started doing the YouTube videos or anything like that. And the fact that I've been doing this for this long just kind of made me tilt my head and be amused for a second. Because, yeah. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lava. What's up? It's also funny because, you know, sometimes I would get the lore wrong because it would be changed later. Or it would be interpretive, and so I'd be like, well, it's this thing. But it wasn't, you know, that kind of a thing. I love interpretive lore to an extent. But every now and again, it's like, damn it. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. Hi. I was up a little too late last night. I was also rewriting a story in my head. Yeah, anyone ever do that? Let me explain what I mean by that. I wrote a story a while ago. I actually told you guys about this on stream. I took Final Fantasy VI and wrote a new story in the confines of FF6 because I found it a unique creative challenge to write to write a completely new story that has nothing to do with the old story within the confines of the same visual limitations of the existing story, right? So, I had written that story years ago. Well, you guys reminded me of it somewhat recently, and I was asked about it on the stream just a few days ago. So what I mean by rewriting it is I was going back through my head and reminding myself of the story I wrote. And because I'd forgotten so many bits and pieces of that story, I was rewriting it in my head, if that makes sense. In other words, it was a story I've already written, it's just a story that I was trying to clear up a bit in my head because I forgot some of the details. Make sense? That's what I mean by rewriting. I shouldn't call that rewriting. I guess polishing a story, the story in my head. And it made me sad because I'll never actually be able to produce that story in any meaningful fashion. But I don't know. It's just something I was curious if anybody else ever did that polishing a story or whatever. It wasn't a completely new story, but there was a lot of additional details that I don't remember being there at all, yeah. Like, well, I don't want to tell you about it, but yeah. Anyways, by the way, Corwin, if I didn't make it clear, it's fairly likely that most of your people were able to evacuate before the big boom happened. That's true for all the nations. Every nation had a chance to evacuate before. RPG Maker. I suppose I could produce a terrible game just to tell the story. I mean, I could. That is a valid option. And lose all respect of my viewers forever. Here's a terrible game I made, guys. Enjoy. Although it's funny you say that, Rory, because every now and again I get the I want to make a game itch. It's not often. It only happens like once every year or so. But I was having that itch literally last night. I was thinking about proper design of balancing when it comes to encounters and difficulty in a JRPG specifically. And I was like, And I was thinking about the specifics and mechanics of how I would do that, you know? Anyways. Do you have the blood? Oh. He eyes the blood hungrily. More than enough, and still warm. Now, let's get this ritual started, shall we? Hang on, before we do that, let's get you some food! Have some food. I'm famished. If you don't hurry, I might actually resort to drinking our reagents. Oh, these are perfect. I'll eat well for the next several days. Nom, nom, nom. I suppose you want to know what we're doing. Here's the short version. A version at which I happen to be an expert. The Shadow Sword cultists wish to summon the demon Razalik back to the Blasted Lands. We cannot allow this to happen, so we're going to summon him ourselves and then kill him. It's a task not as simple as it sounds. Let me know when you're ready to begin, and then stand back. Oh, I'm sure he is psychotic. Very vaguely, Takoida. Yes, I have some memories of that. Probably Bragon. It's a lot easier to do. Nice, Corwin. Yeah, I'm not alone. So, really quick, for those of you who were not here when I was discussing the vanilla stuff, which is ironic because that video will be going live in a couple days. Back in vanilla, there's a long question, one of the few long questions. There's like Darrowshire, Tyrion Forging, the Onyxia chain, and the other attunement quests, and of course, this chain. Or rather, the original version of this chain, where we went all over the place trying to take out a demon lord called Razalik, who was actually a very high-ranking Nethrezim, and was under the personal command of the Doom Lord Kazak. There was this whole story behind it, but the general concept is Razalik had convinced several of his followers to undertake a ritual which would give them immortality. And so they, being total morons, took this ritual. Now, the way this works is their existence empowered him, making him stronger. That was the pact. They would bind themselves to him, and he would give them immortality. Well, the way he gave them immortality was he bound their essence to the land. So here, there was one here in these caves, one up at Dreadmaul Hold, and one over here at the Altar of Storms. And all three of these guys... all three of these individuals were immortal, quote unquote, because they wouldn't age, they wouldn't die, other than of natural causes. But they could never leave. They were stuck in the Blasted Lands forever. And Razalik was like, ha ha ha! I have all this power now. Although he was actually stuck here too. This quest chain was actually pretty cool. Yeah, it had a whole bunch of stuff. You would go after several of these guys and take them out, and then weaken Razalik, but we still couldn't actually hurt him because he still had so much power. We had to go all the way up to Ashara, get Asherite, then go all the way down to Stranglethorn Vale, to the Mithril Order over here-ish, right about, and get a blade forged with Razalik's name literally carved into it in arcane runes. I actually still have that blade, by the way, on my undead. And then we went and actually killed Razalik. So that's the vanilla chain in a nutshell, in a summary. Alright, stay back. This may get messy. Blood. The blood ritual's complete. And I can see where the 3 amulets await you. Blood ritual's a success. I can clearly see where we're going next. I'm sorry, I misspoke. What I meant is I can see where you are going next. To summon our demon, we need 3 amulets, and the first is the Amulet of Alistarge. Alistarge himself is dead, but he locked his amulet up on a trove inside this very cave. Along with the other amulets, this will give us access to Razalik's perch. It's close to the entrance. I recommend using the teleporter. Hello, Mind Blast. The second amulet, Savine's, is in the hands of a Murloc. How it ended up there, I cannot say, but I say with certainty you'll find it there. Grawl the Ogre. It would seem Grawl's body is no longer rests with the Ogre's. His body, along with his amulet of power, is in a wrecked ship off of the Shadowshore. His amulet is the last. Once combined, yada yada. So, yes, Diesel, that is correct. One of the very first demon hunters ever, that we saw in-game, I should say, was Loramus Thelapides, the gentleman who helped us in this entire chain. He was the guy up in Ashara who told us about the Asharite and how to forge it, and how to carve the true name of the demon in order to be able to hurt Razalik himself. So, yes, this... A lot of people were pretty jazzed about this quest for literally no other reason than the fact that there was a demon hunter involved in it. And I freely admit I was one of those people. In fact, the mere fact that the demon hunter was wielding glaives, like a demon hunter would, it made people go, oh my god, awesome! That's gonna be a thing! Because, you know, it kind of made sense. What the... You never take amulet! Growl live forever! Growl kill you! Growl crush. Growl smile. Growl die. Thank you. Should go grab that one next. And yeah, even with the blade, the fight was not super easy, especially since he had a really fun, unique ability. So you see this... or is it that one? One of these peaks over here is where you fought him. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, it is that one. You would fight him on the top of that peak. This was long before flying existed in the game. You might think, well, why is that relevant? Well, because he had a knockback ability when he fought you on the top of a peak. We had an entire strategy of positioning involving making sure everyone was in as little danger as possible of being knocked back into, into our deaths. Some people could survive it if you were quick enough on slow fall or whatever you could, but you'd basically be out of the fight. You'd have to immediately rush back up. Well, there was an ogre, an orc, and a human, I want to say? Or maybe it was a Forsaken. I actually can't remember all three of them. No, Alistar's was the human, I'm almost positive. Anyways, it was pretty effective, Shmidolf. Right, let's head this way. Well, there's this incredible new invention, Deutsch, called a refrigerator. I guess a freezer would be more relevant. Whatever. Alright. For some reason... Wait a minute. There's some Murlocs just kind of hanging out here. What's up, guys?
Village gone. Family gone. Now I gotta take everything.
Murloc, I know you have the amulet of Savine. I need it.
Fine, take amulet. But dwarf help Rockpool.
You're damn right I'm gonna help you. I love this quest. This is one of the few times we can actually help Murlocs out. The Murloc struggles to speak in your language.
Rockpool attack. Naga turn, take villagers. Saltflop escape, others not. Go south. Talk Chief Neptune, maybe survive.
I will help you, brave Murloc. Because I'm not an evil bastard. I'm going to go back and become part of the Senate, and I will vouch for better beers for everyone, and more tolerance for Murlocs, and peace with the Horde. Yeah, so in case you're wondering what exactly the Murlocs are being forced to do, well, there's a term for that. What you're staring at right there. We're just going to call it a slave chain for the moment, because that's kind of what it is. Saltflop did not shame himself by running away. Look behind me and see for yourself. The Rockpool have no hope against the Naga attack. Though his lips do not move, you can feel the Murloc chief speaking to you. The Bloodwash Naga and the Rockpool Murloc have lived one amongst each other for as long as we can remember. We have always had our differences, but never provoked one another. Why then would they turn on us? You see what they do now? They enslave us, sacrifice us, force us to fight one another. I will stop them, Dwarf, and you will be my weapon. because no Naga would ever dare to be brought as so low as to do menial labor. Also, fell Murlocs? Not sure I want to talk about that. By the way, this is kind of funny. You know how I keep saying Unzoth for Unzoth's name? Apparently there's actually a fairly large debate going on right now about how to pronounce it. And people are disagreeing wildly. Because there's actually a sound file in-game where they actually say Unzoth's name. They don't say it in English, so most people probably missed it. It's one of the bosses during the Dragon Soul. He says Unzoth, by the way, is how he says it. However, a recent post about Hearthstone with regards to the card calls him Nuazoth or something along those lines. So, I have no idea how it's supposed to be pronounced at this point. I'm just going to keep calling him Unzoth because that's what I've been calling him, and I haven't heard a truly definitive answer yet. Usually I go by the voice acting. That's how I learned how to pronounce Noxoramus, after all. But, yeah. Hang on, how was it? I gotta look this up now, because it was Nuazoth or something. It was really weird the way they were pronouncing it. Hang on. By the way, in case this wasn't creepy enough, in addition to enslaving Murlocs, they're enslaving Murloc children, too. Because, yeah, so anyways. Just gonna let you admire that for a moment while I look this up. Damn it. I don't remember where I saw that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I give up. I give up. Farewell forever. For the record, I absolutely adore Batman and Robin. It is the best... excuse me. Best movie ever. That would be kind of funny, Nethrosine. Yeah, so long story short, we're going to massacre the hell out of these Naga. Because slavers and Murlocs, respectively. Congrats, Zawun. You get to decide what our dwarf becomes. In the Horde! You idiot, win. Do we ever get a consensus on how Deutschkind is going to retire here? The Talon King. So named because he was king of a bear. Well, of course they did, Braven. We all kind of saw that coming. Yes, I know that's the one psychotic. Zolf. I was just listening to it earlier today. No, I'm not trusting anything you say about our Dwarven characters, Zawun. So he's going to be a senator with the Earthen, the guys who don't have senators? Did I understand that correctly? He's going to show up. I have this great new idea. It's called a Senate. Rather than actually getting anything done with any real leadership, we'll just sit around arguing all day and drinking beer. That way we'll never have to do anything ever. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's go and do that. Yeah. By the way, I am seeing BVS tonight, so shut up. I will judge it for myself this evening. You've done well, brave hunter. I am pleased, but not yet satisfied. Neptulon the Tidehunter is our god. He was the god of the Bloodwash too, but they seem to have turned their back on him. They now choose to worship only Ashara. You will see the likeness of Ashara littered around the settlements, carved out of sea stone. He eyes your weapon. That weapon will do. Send it through their idols. They need to be reminded that their father, Neptulon, is the only one who truly rules the seas. No number of Naga deaths will bring back the rock pool, but any amount of revenge will help the spirits of my people rest more easily. Many of the more powerful Bloodwash have set up a fortress in the caverns to northwest. Kill them all! In the name of the Tidehunter. Okay. That candle will do. Look, you know take candle, okay? That's a good point. We need to explain why exactly the... oh, by the way, they're literally forcing the Murlocs to attack each other. I know you're thinking, why? Is it to break their spirit? To crush their souls? No, they're just doing it for fun. Lunk would probably not approve here. Which one was Zonaz? I get the two Naraki bosses confused. Anyway, so that's a good point. So wait. So, hang on. Deutsch is going to conquer. Am I understanding this correctly? Deutsch has decided, after all his experiences, he has become corrupted and influenced by the horror that is the Alliance in the Eastern Kingdoms. And he has decided the only possible fate for him and others like him is to bring the Alliance to the rest of the nation. So he has become a firm, fervent believer in the Alliance and is insisting on bringing that Alliance to the Earthen by force. Am I getting this correctly here? And so he will, as an evil bastard... the ping pong guy. Gotcha. There's the ping pong guy, and there's the color spray guy. Anyway, so he will bring them to this new state of being by force, forcing them into enslavement. Alright, I'm okay with that. He will be dead inside of a week, as the Earthen revolt against him and butcher and massacre his corpse. Because he's level 60 and they're level 83. So, I'm okay with this. This also, I'm even more okay with this because this will actually end up pushing the Earthen to allying with the Horde, which, let's be honest, that's what they should do anyways. So, yeah, I'm with it. I like this idea. I will write this into headcanon immediately. Oops, that's a rare. Seriously, if the... Oh, hey, I got a blue one. If the Alliance ever tried to force the Earthen to join them by force, I'm pretty sure they would immediately be like, oh, crap! And all it would need is some kind of enterprising Horde individual to be like, you know... I mean, we can help you with your Alliance problem there. It wouldn't even need to be a Garrosh supporter, since, you know, this is happening towards the tail end of the war. Look, this bear can live without food for a disturbingly large period of time. Because basically I just make it eat whatever I'm attacking. Oh my god, Deutsch really is evil. I just realized he's been starving this bear for like 3 weeks. Forcing it to eat Naga, and demons, and people, and people, and people. Oh my god, Deutsch, you are so evil. I should have done this zone on the Horde, just so that we could have a good guy in this zone. The bear. Yeah, you know what? I guess that is kind of fair. Yes, I did, Dragon Cat. I mean, because it's kind of like, you know, we were trying to feed our bear, and he was just like, You know what? That food's just too pathetic for me. I need strong food. I'm a big bear, and I've got a big appetite. Or I need a big breakfast. Shoot, I can't remember how the commercial goes. That's it. I'm a big bear, and I crave a big cereal. There we go. There we go. I think I got it. Hey, little guys. What are you doing over here? These baby murlocs seem to have been abandoned here. You suspect they are in trouble, and Neptune would want you to bring them back to the ocean where they stand a chance of escaping. Well, then let's help them. Come on! The murloc tadpoles left on this crate appear tired, scared, and nearly dried out. They need to be taken to the water quickly. Perhaps if you drag the crate across the beach and into the Forbidden Sea, they'll have a chance of escaping. Some people have genuinely wondered, and I am among this, if this particular quest will ever be followed up on. Because, yeah. Basically, the whole point here is we're saving several of the baby murlocs so that the rock pool murlocs will live on. Come on, I'm coming to rescue the lot of you. There'll be no death of the murlocs while I'm here. Almost there. Almost there, little laddies. Don't worry, I'll get you to safety. No, Genghis, you can't, for you're not a murloc. Only murlocs are allowed here. No, they'll be fine, Zoan. Hopefully. Okay. I've got you to the water, but I have to get you to a specific point in the water. Because quests... Actually, I think I could... Nope, it has to be over there. Okay. Dum, da, dum, da. Yeah, well, my bear's already full on Naga, so he doesn't need any other food. Besides, we don't eat other sentients. What are we, savages? It's simple, Genghis. You're just not cute enough to be a murloc. Gonna rescue you. Oh crap, we're under attack. Okay. Be free, my young brethren. Be free. The rockpole tadpoles float on to the distance, thankful and safe. Naga don't count. They're evil. Hey, fruit juice. I mean, it's okay to eat evil beings. That's why we eat dwarves all the time. Beard-basted boar ribs. I mean, come on. No. They're just... Maybe they'll survive. Maybe. I mean, that's a good point. We eat snakes. Why don't we eat snake people? No, beard. Beard is the one. By the way, the music you're hearing now is a hint of what's to come later today. Why not, Psychotic? You'd think that would add to the flavor. Hey, Victory. We're not evil. I swear. In fairness, we actually are kind of being good guys at this point in time, finally. Ah, screw it. Oh god, giant spider. Oh god, okay, okay. Go away, giant spider. I know you're on my side, but go kill things that aren't me. By the way, this quest does actually mention something that, I mean, we've hinted at before, and we were pretty much 100% convinced of, but, no, I have not, Zoan. But, well, this pretty much 100% convinces this. The long and the short of this is actually really simple. Namely, these Naga literally worship Ashara, a person. I mean, she's a rather arrogant person, but the fact that she's pushing her own people to worship her is just like, what? But whatever, they practically worshipped her even before they became Naga, so... yeah. Poor tortoise. It's okay. We'll save you, little Murlocs. We'll save all of you. Every last one of you will be saved. Ah, as soon as I kill these Naga. I apparently can't save those ones. We'll save the rest of you. So yeah, the blue orb I just got is the best orb that is possible to get. I'm curious what we'll get as a result of that, actually. Wait, he did it on accident, someone? Oh, that's terrible. You make an old Murloc proud, dwarf. Thank you. May the waves ever lap at your feet. The last rock pool may be taken hostage today and killed tomorrow, but they will pass into the underworld knowing that a brave dwarf avenged their death. Thank you. Well, we've done what we can. Because the game won't let us do more. Because I totally would do more. I would like spend the entire Blasted Lands saving the Murlocs if I could. Farewell, Sororoxus. Remember, save the Murlocs. I'm sorry, I was just remembering a humorous video about I think I've made a connection with the Murlocs, and the Murloc rushes up and attacks her. Ham. Be honest, though. If you could make a Murloc playable character, you totally would. Murloc Paladin. We even know what it would look like. This guy. This would be a Murloc Paladin right here. See, he's got the shield. He's got the flail. He's got it going on. So this is the blue, the highest version of the Dranathist quest. We found a flawless sphere. Simply amazing. I doubted anyone could find another sphere. Yet here it is, pulsing in my hands. Well done, Deutsch. Should you find any more, and I believe this to be an impossibility, return here and I shall reward you again. I got the Executioner Cleaver! Yay! That's not a bad graphic. By the way, in case you're wondering why he has this line about... Does it sound familiar? It should, because I say it 1,000 times a day. If you're paying attention, I've already done this quest like 5 times, just from being in this zone. You know, for today. Yeah. Yes, Dragon Cap, but we need to take it even farther. Murlocs should stay neutral, because the Horde's like, we'll never let Murlocs join. And the Alliance is like, we'll never let Murlocs join. And so Murlocs make their own faction with Blackshack and Hookers, and it's awesome. Speaking of which, Alistar's left a piece of himself in that amulet. Even now, I can sense his evil. He was an archmage, I can feel it. I'll hold on to the amulet for you, I'll collect the rest. Servine's amulet, along with the others, can summon the Defiler. Oh, a warlock. Powerful one at that. Third amulet. He was a powerful warrior, this one. I'll keep the amulet till we're ready to proceed. Hello, Salty. Razalik plans to return to the Blasted Lands and overwhelm Azeroth with his demons. Even now, he is preparing to summon his legions to eliminate us. With these 3 amulets, we have the method to summon him, but no way to destroy them. He draws a rune on the air and hands it to you. Deliver this to Grymio at the Dark Portal. He'll guide you. Hurry. Time is short, and so am I! So, this is actually kind of interesting. Because normally I'd be like, oh, one demon lord is going to attack and destroy all of Azeroth. Pfft, whatever. The thing is, this is probably like the most ideal time ever for a demonic invasion. Because the Horde and the Alliance are so committed to their war against each other that they are completely unprepared for an external threat right now. And I mean completely. In fact, if you pay attention during the several zones we'll be doing once we get to the endgame kind of stuff, the 80 to 85 stuff, you'll notice that one of the common trends in the story is the fact that the Horde and Alliance are so busy doing other things that it's up to the player characters and the neutral powers to actually save the day. In basically all of the zones other than Twilight Highlands, which is the only one where the Horde and Alliance have any real presence.
Blessings upon you.
Do I know you, good dwarf? No, not Kazim again! This is madness! Please remain quiet. If Commander learns I'm still working for the Short One, do you know how quickly I'll be removed from the Watch? I see you speak the truth. Let us begin our business quickly, so it may end even quicker.
Good
Yes,
health, long life.
Kazim wants you to gather granite chips from the chunks of rock around the Dark Portal. I don't even know what he'd want them for, but I have my suspicions and they're not pleasant ones. Use this pick. Look for the small outcroppings.
Remember the lessons of the past.
Sharim wants demon blood. Speaking personally, the stuff does not even seem like blood to me. More like liquid rot. But that is of no consequence. Luckily for you, the area around the Dark Portal is crawling with demons. They all got what you want, in copious, pestilent amounts. Oh, by the way, you might be like, why are there so many people here all defending against the portal? Well, that's because at this point in history, asterisk, the Dark Portal just opened and the BC invasion just happened. So. But yeah, I would actually be amused, since Razalik was a fairly decently powerful villain in lore, or fairly powerful demon in lore. So, the idea... Did he just interrupt my mining? It's like, hey! It wouldn't surprise me if he could have done, at the very least, some serious damage to Azeroth. If not outright just one by the time he started summoning reinforcements. While the Alliance and the Horde are like, we'll kill each other! So, I know. I constantly harp on about the Alliance Horde thing and how it's so stupid. Can I explain one of the really big reasons why? Does anyone remember the teaser trailer for Warcraft 3? It was also in the beginning of Warcraft 3. I'll go ahead and remind you really quick. There was this scene, brilliantly animated, where a human and an orc are like, oh, we'll kill each other. And the human is just battered and worn out, and the orc is tired and bloodshot, and they're fighting each other on some kind of plane. And they're like, oh. And then an infernal comes down out of absolutely nowhere and massacres both of them. That has never left my mind. That scene has never vanished from my mindset. It's an awesome cutscene. It has almost no dialogue, and yet it so perfectly encapsulates the problem in every way. To my knowledge, whether or not Tichondrius is dead permanently has not been determined. Based on everything we understand, he probably isn't, even though I think he should be. If I could give my opinion on the matter, which has already been proven wrong, by the way, so this is not canon. One of the things I always felt was demons only being able to kill on their own plane should have always had an asterisk next to it. If you could kill a demon, or an elemental for that matter, in a sufficiently powerful way, and in a way that's just unusual, you don't beat them down with swords or whatever, use some magical or amazing or incredible method to destroy them, like, oh, I don't know, detonating the world tree on their face, the unique and powerful nature of that destruction should permanently kill them. In fact, I have been under the assumption for a very long time that Archimonde was actually dead. Now, again, obviously I was wrong, because Archimonde came back in Warlords. Roll my eyes. But the reason I bring that up is it's relevant to Tichondrius, because Tichondrius died in a fairly unique way. He died at the hands of another very powerful demon, who also happened to be a demon hunter. Also, the demon hunter. So I had been laboring under the assumption, and for a very long time, that Tichondrius was dead. Gone. Permagone, because of the nature of his destruction. One of a very small number of demons that were permagone, due to the nature of said destruction. In fact, for the longest time, I assumed that Mannoroth was dead in a similar manner, too. I have been completely proven wrong. So, whatever. Like I said, Schmeidolf, I am wrong. I admit this. The canon disagrees with me. Shrug, So, in lore, Tichondrius should still be around and kicking. The fact that he hasn't shown up is really, really weird. For those of you not aware, Tichondrius was the Dreadlord. He was as high-ranking as it got amongst Dreadlords. He was the highest-ranking Nethrezim and a personal lieutenant of Archimonde and Kil'jaeden. Way up there in rank. And yet, despite the fact that, according to their lore, he should still be alive, he hasn't done anything since then. See you around, Deutsch. Thank you for driving the Earth into the Horde. I appreciate it. So if you put a Dreadlord into a Soul Grinder, now that is a very interesting question. However, given the nature of the Soul Grinder, I'm going to say it would actually work. I'm serious. I think it would actually work on even a demon's soul. Just, I'm not sure if the result would be pleasant, but
Warm wishes
yeah.
to you.
My God, it's a puppy run! Please lower your voice. Hope this is what that gnome wanted.
Be kind to those less fortunate.
Ugh, what is that smell? Is that you or the blood? Oh, there's no doubt about it. You have found demon blood. Cosm's requests aside, I am sure my watch commander is thankful for your efforts. They have been struggling to deal with these demon distractions for some time now.
Blessings upon your family.
This is all the gnome asked of us. When you see him, make sure you let him know this ends my debt. I will not suffer his requests any longer.
Dionys Akar.
That is actually possible, because it did take Archimonde quite a while to come back, too. And by quite a while, I mean technically it happened in the past, but still, the point remains that Archimonde did take a fairly decent chunk of time to be reconstituted, so that's possible. But yeah, if Archimonde has come back by now, then Tichondrius absolutely should have come back by now. I'm curious of something. Tichondrius is in Legion, guys. That's all I'm saying. I'm not sure what I think of that. Not sure what I think of that. Yeah, I think I dislike that. For the same reasons we've already covered. I dislike this rules lawyering they're pulling on the demons. Actually, probably, yeah, as it would. You've returned. Oh, right. You've returned, Hunter. Oh, this is sufficient. If you see him again, you may tell him he performed satisfactorily, but no, his debt is not yet cleared. I'll get to work on fashioning the stone knife of stealing. There will be no need for questions now. All will be revealed in time. While I do work, I have another task for you to complete. Oh, don't look so upset. This task will be fun. It involves collecting body parts. We need Lorimus Thalapides, the demon hunter. He knows Razalik's true name, and the only other person who does went through vanilla. They're off doing God knows what right now. If you know the name of a demon, you have some power over it. The problem is Lormus has been killed, his body ripped apart. If you can bring me the pieces, we have a recourse. All 3 pieces are in the west. The Dreadmaul hide them in their cave. Wait, what? Yeah, like Takoida and Nethrezim both say, I like a character coming back within reason, especially if it's done well. For example, I'm one of those guys who would have think Cairn coming back at the end of Pandaria would have been awesome. However, the idea of... I need to go this way. The idea of the fact that Archimonde has come back, and the idea of Tichondrius coming back, and Gul'dan coming back, it's just like... I don't know, I feel like we're at the edge of tolerance point. If even that. I really, really didn't like that Archimonde was in Warlords. I still don't like it. They've even explained it within their retconning of the lore, and it makes sense within their new version of the lore, and I still don't like it. You know? And yeah, fighting Kil'jaeden the second time, that makes sense. We actively didn't kill him last time. We banished him using the Sunwell. With that. So Kil'jaeden coming back, awesome. That is something I was expecting. Archimonde coming back? What? You know? Loramis's head, the eyes have been ripped out. Don't worry, that happened before he died. And you know what? I'm actually with Stukov on this. I could actually be more okay with Tichondrius coming back than Archimonde. For the reasons I mentioned earlier. A case could be made that, if they were killed sufficiently, argument was accurate, like I was assuming for the longest time. If that argument was true, then Tichondrius might not have been killed sufficiently. But Archimonde definitely was. They detonated the World Tree on his face. Think about that for a moment. So Archimonde coming back was just, no! Tichondrius coming back I could at least swallowed, you know? Demon engines. Demon engines. I don't know. Considering demonic tech happens to be both tech and magitech, depending. Yeah, Brutalis could probably come back. Nah. And you can make an argument for Manaroth coming back and a few other characters, but damn it. Just, no. Why? I know, right, Nethrezim? We outdid a bajillion wisps and the World Tree. I mean, sure, I'm with it. I'm always in favor of that, as long as it's presented well, but seriously? No. Magtheridon. That's a little more debatable. Any demon that was killed in Outland is actually a lot more debatable if they could come back. Because of the fact that they, the Outland was in the Twisting Nether, so it was sufficiently connected to the Nether that I could see an argument either way for them being brought back, or them having been close enough to the Nether to be permanently destroyed. I honestly don't know, Zoan. I don't know enough to answer that one accurately. I don't know, Ilian. I hated fighting him again, too. I get what they wanted. They wanted us to fight Archimonde. But the thing is, we already did that back in Hyjal. We did that in WoW back in Hyjal. You know? So it's like... There's no need to reintroduce him as a fight in the game. I get that you're trying to set up the Burning Legion expansion. Do you know how many other options you could have done? In fact, let me just share an idea with you guys. Hear me out. I know we don't want to talk about Warlords, but hear me out, okay? What if the last boss of Legion was Manaroth? Wouldn't that have been such a perfect bookend the demon curse always started with Manaroth. It always came back down to him. It was always Grom versus Manaroth, and that situation between the two back before Warcraft 1 and during Warcraft 3. That's what finally ended the blood curse, was Grom and Manaroth. Wouldn't it be so appropriate if we go back to Draenor and we had all that Iron Horde stuff, and the Iron Horde collapses, and Grom and Garrosh are going through, and Garrosh is killed, and Grom has nothing left, and the final boss isn't Archimonde, who comes out of absolutely nowhere. Yeah, I meant Warlords, sorry. I meant Warlords. Instead of Archimonde coming out of nowhere and being like, hi, I'm the boss, have it be Manaroth, the one who started all this crap. Have us permanently kill him. Utterly, completely, definitively, finally, permanently killed Manaroth, to the point where the demon curse will never actually exist ever again, and we have fully freed the orcs from that in 2 realities. That would have had that whole... There would have been a degree of artistry to that. There would have been a degree of not only bookending, like I mentioned, but a parallel between the 2 dimensions. And that would actually have made Warlords of the alternate Draenor make a little bit more relevance to the primary plot, other than, and then Gul'dan is back, you know? But no, it's just, here's Archimonde. Why? Sorry, I'm done. Rant off. Like, I don't even know how to phrase it. It's one of those things where it fits in my head. The symmetry of that fits in my head so well. I don't know how better to explain that. What did I just get? His torso. Heavily tattooed, of course, because he's a demon hunter. That is correct, Mind Blast. Both of them are still Nihilans. Well, Manaroth... It's always been implied that there's something special about Manaroth's blood, because he's the strongest of the Pit Lords, as Nethergene just mentioned. Magtheridon was able to influence Fel orcs as well, or make Fel orcs, because he was an extremely strong Pit Lord. In fact, Magtheridon is the 2nd strongest Pit Lord we've ever actually encountered, second only to Manaroth himself. It is implied that your regular, everyday Pit Lord, or an island if you prefer, would not be able to be useful blood-wise. Trust me, whatever happened to Lormus, we can fix it. The limits of blood magic are still undefined. Oh yeah, I need to look something up for this. Hang on just a second. Apparently that has been confirmed. Yes, Zawan, it was in the book that Annihilands are true demons. Which, shrug. Damn. I see. Yes, I can work with this. Ah, Lorimus Thalapides, Demon Hunter. I look forward to our reunion. Up on the bluffs to the west is a powerful altar. A powerful demonic altar, guarded by cultists, but powerful nonetheless. If you can reach it, you can use it to bring Lorimus back to us. The altar will likely resist your efforts, so you'll have to protect his body while the ritual completes. Bring the Demon Hunter back to me afterwards. Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree. Even Brutalis wasn't actually... I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. I kind of like how they portrayed Brutalis, because despite the fact that he was, a pit fighter, basically, he wasn't portrayed as stupid. In fact, he was probably smarter than the blue dragon he was fighting. But whatever. Yes, in theory that is still correct, Zoan. And yeah, some people tend to forget that Manaroth was an extremely powerful caster. And by some people, I mean absolutely everyone. I mean, even his fight in Warlords is kind of non-castery. He cast a couple of spells, but, Asgalor. That was actually an interesting fight where they showed off the casting nature of a Pit Lord. In Hyjal. So, time to bring back Lorimus Thalapides, the first demon hunter in WoW. Where's his body? Where's his freaking body? Up there it is. Body. Oh, there we go. I will defend you, Lorimus. Honestly, I like this guy. Especially after Kata, but most definitely back in vanilla. It's ignoring the fact that I wanted to play a Demon Hunter. I just like this guy. Yeah, the game does kind of suggest that, absolutely. Again, I do find it funny that almost everything tends to forget that Manaroth is one of the stronger mages, warlocks really, of the casters of the Legion. Like, he's up there on par with Tychondrius, Archimonde, and Kil'jaeden. Well, and Kil'jaeden aren't Archimonde. Archimonde's pretty much top tier when it comes to casters in the Legion. Whoops. Ads. Hunt hard. Hunt hard. We haven't really mentioned it yet. No, Zoan. Because it hasn't really come up yet. So, you notice how Lorimus's body is saying things in demonic. You notice that? Well, believe it or not, you can actually understand those if you're a warlock here and you go into metamorphosis form while he's doing it. Would anyone like to hear what he's saying while he's being resurrected here? Paying attention to make sure no one else... Oh, okay, we're good. So, what he says... Just a couple of quick quotes here. Holy moly! Oh, sweet sassy molassy! Oh, Magabi, this is horrible! Balderdash! That's what he's saying when you're resurrecting him. What have you done? Oh, I see. This is the path I must take. Meet me back at the cave, heroes. My favorite is sweet, sassy molassy. Yeah, really, I'm not making that up. No, I looked it up, Dakota. But like I said, if you go into Warlock Metamorphosis Forum, or go into Dark Apotheosis, or a few other things, you can actually read Demonic, which is what he was speaking in. Hello, Lorimus. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Hello.
You fool. What have you done?
Farewell.
What do you mean? Okay. Well, let's go talk to Razalik over here. I mean, him. The knife is ready. Lorimus is present. He knows what he must do. I must now take the 3 amulets and use their enchantment to grant you access to Razalik. I am prepared to perform the ritual. Speak to me when you're both ready. With the powers of the amulets of Razalik, I bind you to his lair.
I am listening.
It seems we would prepare to face our demon, Deutsch. We have the amulet's blessing and the stone knife, and I alone know the true name. Together, this may be enough to defeat the Defiler. Listen well. First we must travel to the Deathly Usher, who awaits the northwest rise. The Usher will take us to the top of the rise, because you definitely don't have flying by now. Once there, you'll help me defeat Razalik, for I fear I am not strong enough to defeat him alone. Most importantly, I need you to hold the stone knife, and do not use it till I tell you. The knife will trap his soul within its new eternal prison. Okay.
Asha Fela.
Let's go do it. Let's be honest, guys. Death is merely a setback for Pit Lords. Let's do it.
Ishno Del Diab.
Demon, I have returned from beyond the grave to destroy you. Death has not erased my memory. I still know your name. Raklik, come and no demise. Fool of a hunter! How many pieces must I cut you into this time? Yes, Dakoita. The idea is this will prevent Razalik from ever actually respawning in the Nether. And of course a Demon Hunter would know about that. Because they should. Oh, crap. Oh! Oh, thank you for grabbing me back. Enough games! What's this? Lorimus, I see. They used the Altar of Storms, didn't you? You must feel it already then! The demonic energy entering your heart, your lungs, your soul! Allow me to speed up the process a bit. Now, heroes, finish me! Or Razalik possesses my body! Loch Zenar Kalamordas Loxan. And we use the knife on him. It is done. Leave me here then, while I wrestle with Razalik in the next world. Your job is done, heroes. And yeah. And now Razalik is forever going to be wrestling with Lorimus Thalapides in eternal imprisonment. I wonder how that worked out for the gentleman who was trying to do that with Baal over in Diablo 2. I know, right, Nethrazim? Yeah. Retcon.
May the light embrace you.
Lorimus, resurrected, and trapped the demon in his own body by the light. I see. So this was Kazim's plan all along. I suspected correctly, but I suppose I refused to believe it. One last thing. Kazim left one more instruction with the rune. I did not understand it at first, but given events that have taken place today, it makes more sense. He asked me to let you choose one of these. The band of sacrifice, of noble deeds, or of selfless acts.
Do not lose faith.
Now, we have no more quests, which is weird, because we should. I'm gonna go check Nethergard to see if I missed something. Even though I should just... I'm just gonna go to Surwich, because that's where the next few quests are. So that's the end of Lorimus Thalapides. That's, what, 2 named Demon Hunters we are down now? Lorimus... actually, 3. Lorimus, the Blood Elf whose name I can never remember, at the Black Temple. Not in, on the Black Temple. And Leotheris the Blind. Yeah, you know what? The more I think about it, the fact that it was Illidan that killed Tychondrius as a demon, with full knowledge of how demon works and the knowledge of a demon hunter, you'd think Illidan would be one who understands how Tychondrius worked. Now, it is also possible he knew Tychondrius would come back and he just didn't care because he was concerned about the immediate threat. And that is okay. I can actually accept that. I still take issue with Archimonde, but whatever. So for those of you not aware, this area used to be called the Tainted Scar. It used to be a even more barren wasteland of doom. Yes, even more. Oh yeah, he also had the Skull of Gul'dan, so yeah, he had every reason in the world to know about Tichondrius' situation. Whatever. So let's find out what's going on over here, shall we?
We've been walled up for far too long.
Not surprising. Most of our citizens in Sowich did not come to the Blasted Lands for the pleasant atmosphere. They came following the dream of an idealistic druid, Marl Wormthorn. Wormthorn believed the Tainted Scar could be healed and attempted to grow it back. He was wrong. He grew the forest, but the land is still plagued by demons and the great tree is twisted and gnarled. I'm still hopeful. Maybe if we headed and clear out some of the taint, maybe?
Let the light of the new moon guide you.
Yeah, I know, right, Stukov? It's like, this is a fairly short quest chain. In fact, this will probably only take us a few minutes to do. But yeah, this used to be, well, pretty much like the rest of the Blasted Lands. This is a rather massive change in terrain here. Although, this does kind of help to explain why it is that the Fellwood hasn't been reclaimed in all these years. Because what you're looking at is an amateur effort. I'm trying to think of a real-world equivalent of this. Basically, it's like the idea of, well, if I do this, I'll win because I lack full understanding of the situation, kind of a thing. Like someone who thinks turning on a firewall means they'll never get a virus in a computer. That kind of a thing, right? You know, it's what you're doing isn't exactly invalid, it's just it totally lacks the full length and breadth of the complicated situation you're trying to accomplish, you know? Here's a better example. If I lock the door on my house, you know, my house is impenetrable kind of a mentality, you know? These are bad examples, I'm sorry. Point being, this is not how you restore a land that has been completely corrupted by demonic taint for years. In fact, decades. Because this place has been screwed up ever since Warcraft 2. And Doomlord Kazak himself used to roam these areas. And Doomlord Kazak's one of those weird characters who they keep talking up in lore, because he's basically the highest-ranking Doomguard commander that exists. He is the superior commander of all the Doomguards. And yet, he has had almost no gameplay presence. He was a world boss, and then he opened the Dark Portal, and then he was a world boss, and now he's a world boss. That's it. That's all they've ever done with Kazak, lore-wise, despite supposedly being the supreme commander of the Doomguards. It's just kind of silly. But anyways. But yeah, so now things, well, whether or not they're worse is debatable, but they are definitely not fixed at all. It'd be more accurate, I think, to say, rather than worse, that they're just shifted. They used to be this blasted hellscape of fell energy. Now, they're this wonderful marshland of fell energy. So, you know, by the way, if Kazak's in Legion, in fact, I'm gonna look that up really quick. Hang on. Where's that? Because that would be really funny. He's back! Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't look like he is. Oh, well. This is also the boss that Paladins used to be able to one-shot if they set themselves up properly for it. Reckoning Bomb for the win. Yeah, you notice there's a lot of demons still roaming here. Like I said, this is basically still a fully fell area. That's the problem. So, those of you who have been paying attention to this lore run, I think I've discussed how fell works quite a bit. So let me pose to you a question. You have taken a place that was this burning hellscape with no life in it, with tons and tons of fell energy pouring through it, and you have added a large amount of life to it. Can you see the problem here? We may never know, Stukov. Or we will in about a year, I'm sure. But yeah, this is only like a 3 quest chain. Which is a bit of a shame. But this is why all the Worgen were coming here. So... The idea here is this one... Okay, so the Worgen were taught Druidism. This is actually kind of tragic, really. The Worgen were taught Druidism by the Night Elves. And the Worgen were like, fan-freaking-tastic. There's nothing we can't accomplish with this. You know what? We need a new home away from all these other homes. And I have a dream. Why don't I go to the most horrifically destroyed place I can think of? And there's a few answers to that question. But in this case, he picked the Blasted Lands. As I'm going to rebuild the Blasted Lands, and we'll make it into a new Worgen paradise. And the Night Elves... I like to think that the Night Elves are like, no, what are you doing? You're an idiot. And he's like, no, I got this,
What's
I got
your
this.
story?
The demons were all worshipping the tree. I believe the taint of the Blasted Lands has finally exerted its influence over my friend, Wormthorn. His experiment has failed, and the great tree now only serves as a focus for the demons to rally around. The tree must come down, and Wormthorn with it. Speak with the Cenarian Observer. The act we are about to commit must not be made known to the people of Surwich. Morale is low enough as is.
You wouldn't want to see me when I'm angry.
So let's talk to the Cenarian Expedition here. Excuse me, the Cenarian Circle here. Let's see if they have anything to say about this travesty. Well, I'm surprised Conasport is willing to go forward with his plan. I'm also relieved. I've seen the demons rallying around Maldraz, and I share his fears. We need a way to get Wormthorn's attention, something to break him out of his trance, something that is guaranteed to work. The few types of wildlife that manage to make a foothold in the forest are without a doubt affected by the land's energies. Your task is to rip out their body parts and find a way to combine them together. What? Okay. I'm gonna go rip apart some animals and put them back together like they were Legos. That's how animals work, right? Ew. But yeah, I gotta be honest, when I first was like, oh, I can't wait to do the Blasted Lands, this zone right here, this area was like one of the reasons why I was thinking that. And then it turns out there's this huge, awesome quest chain with Loramus Thelepides, and the awesome Murloc chain, and then, well, it was only like 4 quests. But then there's this tiny thing, I was like, that's it? That's all there is? I was very sad. I also have weird memories of this because I was actually doing these quests for the first time ever while watching one of the GDQs. So I actually remember the GDQ stuff more than I remember these quests. I'm serious. See, they were actually running a game called Donkey Kong. You may have heard of that. Specifically, the Donkey Kong that's on the Game Boy. And yes, I still remember that, and yes, I'm a loser. What do you want from me? Jeez, yeah, that's right. See, I need a lot of these things. I need to kill like 1 billion animals. This is probably one of the grindiest Cataclysm quests, because I need to kill all sorts of things. Yeah, I was hoping they would do more too, because, yeah, there's a couple of creatures from Zangarmarsh here. We actually killed them earlier. Oh, well. Like I said, though, this is a bit of a travesty situation. Yes, there is. I've actually already discussed it, but I don't mind rehashing it since I have nothing else to talk about right now. So there's 3 Cenarian groups. There's the politicians, there's the we're trying to fix the Fellwood, and there's the we're sick of politics, we just want to fix the land. Those are the 3 factions in summary. The Cenarian Circle, Emerald Circle, and Cenarian Expedition, respectively. The Cenarian Circle was originally started as a completely neutral faction. That did not last long at all. In fact, they got completely dragged into politics very, very, very quickly, as you might imagine for any powerful organization, regardless of any claims at neutrality. You tend to get dragged into politics, right? That's fairly natural. So, the Cenarian Expedition were the Cenarian people who are like, you know what, we really just want to help fix the land and do Cenarian stuff. Can we go do that? So when they went to Outland, they finally actually separated fully from the Cenarian Circle and said, we're not attached to you at all. Enough of this alliance, horde, politics, garbage, just, no, we're doing our own thing now. The Emerald Circle is a specialist group whose only purpose is trying to figure out a way to try and reclaim the Fellwood. Now, if you're, this is funny because this is actually relevant to these immediate events. Because as we're literally seeing around us, it is not that easy to reclaim a Fell territory with druidic magic. In fact, based on what I've seen, it's actually not even possible. as I discussed when we were going through Felwood. It probably takes some arcane blasting before we could get to the point of actually reclaiming it druidically. But either way, so yeah, the fact that the Emerald Circle has taken about 9 years to try and reclaim the Felwood is actually consistent. It's not them being incompetent. It's them being careful and cautious and working their way through it slowly and still failing because they're using the wrong tools for the job. They're trying to bash in a nail with a screwdriver. They might eventually succeed, but it would work a lot better if they were using the proper tools. Alright, let's see what we've got so far. What else? Brains! What else? Hide. Oh, I just need 4 of those hides. Okay. Where's my... So that's 20 of those. 4 of those. I need to sell. Very likely, as Dakota. Oh, you mean, are they still making good progress? Well, here's the problem, okay? So the Emerald Circle is a large, well-funded organization with backing and time and a wide variety of people to draw upon for expertise. There is a druid here, a Worgen druid, one guy trying to reclaim this area. And he's already basically demonically corrupted. He is fully Fel-infused at this point. So, oh yeah, by the way, that's what the Tainted Scar used to look like. As you can see, the truly blasted of the blasted lands right there. Completely devoid of life. Completely devoid of anything. Just dead land. I'd like to say what he did here is impressive, but it's not, actually. In fact, what he did here was very, very easy. That's part of the problem. Well, yeah, like I said, there are some political realities between the 3 groups. Am I saying this right, by the way? Ilian? Oh, you mean the ones in Felwood, Dakota? Or do you mean the ones here? Because I assume you mean the ones in Felwood. In which case, yes. The fact that they have made progress at all in Felwood is actually good progress for them. They have been very well dedicated and very pushing for that goal for some time. Grind, grind, grind. Like I said, you need to kill a bunch of stuff for this quest. These guys... Oh no, these guys have made, like, the opposite of good progress. These guys have actively made things worse. Hey, Riven. Like I said, what they did... Like I said, I'd like to call this impressive, but it isn't. What they did here was easy. All they did was grow a forest in a dead land, without any thoughts of the consequence or the reality of what doing so would mean. It'd be like dropping the Ethereals. Well, you know, the Ethereals kind of have the answer to all those questions. I really don't know why we don't go to the Ethereals. I'm like, you know, hey, so you're like the best terraformers around. Could you help us with some? Anyways, it'd be like this. What's happening here is not impressive for this reason, Takoida. Imagine if you managed to take a perfect, like, cube of arable soil and air and water, like a fairly large chunk, you know, several acres, and just dumped it on Mars. That's what these guys have done, assuming that that will terraform Mars. That's not really accomplishing anything. I mean, it's impressive in its own right, because you got a chunk of terrain onto Mars, but that's it. What the Emerald Circle is doing in Felwood is much more like what the actual real-life plans to terraform Mars are like. You know, spending years upon years upon years upon decades of work trying to slowly introduce an atmosphere and slowly introduce soil and slowly introduce bacteria and all that fun stuff. That's more what the Emerald Circle's doing back in Felwood. Alright, we're done with spiders. Yay. I need 2 pastes. I need another brain, looks like. Yeah. Yeah, bingo, Rory. I don't know. You, but depending on the circumstances, you might succeed at smothering a fire by pouring wood on it. But yeah, that's still an apt relative comparison. Like, rather than dropping an entire chunk of wood on it at once, which cuts off its oxygen supply, imagine if you just slowly put, like, one log onto the fire, and then another log onto the fire, then another log onto the fire. Zawan, where's the money gonna come for that? Remember, I don't know about other countries in this world, because I don't live in other countries in this world, but the United States, no one is actually interested in running the country. In fact, no one actually is running the country. They're just doing their particular tiny, minuscule job, which has nothing to do with running the country. It's the civilization, it's the opposite problem civilization has, you know what I mean? Except I don't want to get into politics. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Point being, people are dumb. The end. Moving on. Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate to me, Rory. That's why the whole centuries-long plan to slowly acclimate. I've actually looked over the long-term plan. It does actually seem viable to me, but I am not exactly an expert on the matter. So, you know, I'm not exactly someone you can ask on it to be
Get
definitive.
gabbing or get going.
Shauna's plan's a good one. Do you have the vessel? Oh, very well. I have what we need to break Marl's trance and put an end to him and his experiment. When word gets out what we've done, there's no saying what the citizens will do. They cling so closely to his dream. But still, it must be done. Take the vessel and use it on Marl. Pull him from his trance.
Farewell.
Yes, we must talk about WoW politics. WoW politics are fair game. We're totally cool with that. Although, the only possible reason I can imagine that people haven't gone to the Ethereals and said, hey, is because they're either too arrogant, or they're too stupid, or they can't pay the bill. One of the three. I suppose we should add a fourth option, or they don't remember that the Ethereals have ridiculously advanced terraforming tech. So as you can see, there are multiple Nethrezim, lesser Nethrezim, but still, here. Just, yeah. I mean, come on. These guys are just... I believe there is some, yes, Rory, but it's like 1 per million instead of 3 per million or whatever. So, what's up, Mr. Druid? What are you doing? You threaten my work! The Tainted Scar revival is thanks to me! I will free this land! I will free this land. I only wanted to do something good. That's a good point, Stukov. Also, yeah, we store stuff in the Void, by the way. That's a thing. I actually do feel really bad for this guy. It's one of the reasons why I wish this quest was more fleshed out. This really was a good intentions turned into horrible results kind of a situation. I mean, they actually have water and grass and trees in a place that looked like barren rock. Barren, blackened, gray, soot-covered, dead rock. That's... that is our tracker for our donation incentive, Fruit Juice.
Any friend
which
of
will be relevant
Greymane
in just a few
is
minutes.
a friend of mine.
Thank you, Deutsch. I and the people of Sirwich are in your debt. Feel free to take one of these. We haven't got much. We're happy to reward those that protect
Good
us.
day.
And we're done here. Unfortunately, there really isn't much in the new Blasted Lands. I mean, it's more than there was. Don't mistake me. The old Blasted Lands, if I didn't make my point clear, was terrible. It had the Razalik chain, and that was effectively it. But yeah, that's everything here. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed, because guess what, guys? We're done with the Eastern Kingdoms and with Kalimdor. We have finished the 1 through 60 excursion across 2 continents. It's taken us a few weeks, but now we are finally finally going to get back to what really matters. Our main characters, our Blood Elf and our Blood Elf Paladin and our Worgen Death Knight. And we will continue to go through Cataclysm proper. A little bit over-leveled, but, you know. But first we need to retire this character. This is going to be a little bit of a trip, actually. I got to think about this. I want to go... I should have just flown from there. I didn't even think about that. Oh, well.
Be
Go!
careful out there.
The latter, Rory. It would become this mutated, horrible, fell-corrupted, tainted land of doom. Specifically of doom, not of other more positive things. I'll go ahead and chop this off for YouTube. I'm sure our YouTube viewers don't want to see me go retire this character. So to our YouTube viewers, I will see you guys tomorrow when we continue with the next zone, Vashj'ir.